Edwin C. Barnes. When you combine belief with an unrelenting desire, you create the perfect storm for the happening of a miracle. I once read a story about a gentleman by the name of Edwin C. Barnes. You have probably never heard of him. Neither had I before I read the story. Barnes became the business partner of Thomas Edison under very intriguing and peculiar circumstances. Before Barnes was introduced to or even knew Edison, Barnes determined that he would realize his desire to become a business partner of the industrious Edison, who by then was an established and well-known inventor and businessman. I can imagine that in Edison, Barnes saw a picture of what he could become. He desired this, believed it, and pursued it with all his might. He had an abiding conviction that his greatness and destiny was connected to that of Edison. As a result, he saw no option but to join forces with him, so that he might realize his potential. What Edison might have felt about joining forces with him was immaterial. His desire could come into being. In his mind, Edison had no choice but to agree. Barnes was clearly a special breed of go-getter. He put action towards the attainment of his dream by getting on a train and going to where Edison was, in West Orange, New Jersey, towards his destiny and future. He managed to arrange an appointment with Edison against all the odds. It seemed like his moment had arrived. He would convince Edison of the necessity of them partnering, and that would be it. Game, set, and match. Unfortunately for Barnes, that meeting didn't end in a fairy tale ending, but in a test of will and determination. A test whether his belief in the seemingly impossible was strong enough. At this meeting were some of Edison's peers who scoffed at Barnes' suggestion of partnership. Though Edison was not a party to this degrading act, he still did not partner with Barnes. What he did do was employ Barnes as a sweeper. This was seen as the perfect work for a man who had no education, influence, or money. Such a move could demoralize anyone, not Barnes. He had confidence for days. Instead of jumping on a train and going back home, he stuck it out believing in the validity of his dreams. His pursuit of a partnership with Edison, notwithstanding what many may have seen as an initial rejection, confirmed his confidence in believing for the seemingly impossible. His confidence didn't fizzle out when it became clear that things would not go his way and that he would have to wait longer to achieve his dream. He just adjusted his mindset and the time he would have to take to fulfill his dream, and just kept marching on. His choice to respond in this manner kept his confidence in check. Within Barnes resided advantages that could not be calculated at face value. Barnes possessed an arsenal of faith, initiative, and the will to win. Inside Barnes burnt an inferno that could not be quenched by the waters of disappointment. As a consequence, he stuck to his plan and worked hard for several years while waiting for his opportunity. A lesser man would have thrown in the towel and kissed his dream goodbye. That wasn't part of Barnes' psychological makeup. To him, victory was certain. It was only a matter of time. His opportunity finally came and he pounced on it like a lion would on a deer. His growing hunger had sharpened his ability to spot opportunities rather than dampen his spirit. Edison had finalized the invention of a voice-dictating machine, a device that would revolutionize the life of executives and the like. No longer would it become necessary for them to have a stenographer by their side all the time. They would dictate anywhere and at any time. There was only one problem. Edison's sales force did not see potential in the product and were very reluctant to sell it. Barnes, on the other hand, saw a golden opportunity. He got to work developing a comprehensive marketing plan to sell the device throughout America. He presented it to Edison and he bought into it. He then concluded an exclusive marketing and distribution agreement with Barnes. The machine became known as the Ediphone and was a roaring success. It sold thousands of units within months. So aggressive was the growth that Barnes decided to establish his firm Edwin C. Barnes and Brothers to keep up with and grow the sales. Barnes went on to become a millionaire at a relatively young age. proving that belief and the accompanying desire and action were integral in ensuring that one would live out their greatest life. His story is evidence of the power of believing and desiring right, not just a fleeting interest, but a deep-set conviction. Together with the fact that background and social standing have no claim over one who is prepared to add action to desire. I don't know what Barnes' stance was concerning God. What I do know, however, is that his mindset epitomizes one we ought to have as children of God. This is a mindset that does not cower or faint at the sight of difficulty or opposition. We should never give up. Giving up is not an option for believers if we are to live our greatest life. We need to endure and believe that He will see us through. He is Jehovah Shammah. The Lord is there. And He will be with us in the valley and on the mountaintop. Didn't He say that He will never leave us nor forsake us? Why then should we fear? We need to shake it off and rejoice in Him. As an attorney, I have had the first-hand experience of the advantage of using a dictaphone. Using one multiplied my productivity. I cannot imagine how attorneys of old coped with the large volumes of work while being restricted to longhand or relying on a stenographer. Dictaphones have been the difference maker and have assisted, I would imagine, in the profit-making pursuit of legal practitioners around the globe, as increased productivity has a direct impact on the bottom line of any industry. By pursuing his greatest life, Barnes has impacted generations. Thank you, Edwin St. Barnes, for bringing your piece to the table. It is now time for us to bring our own.